learned a terrifying secret about my neighbor. It all started with a simple and slow knock on my wall. I brushed it off at first, but at times, it would come back in random intervals and it started to get annoying. Sometimes it was 2 knocks, other times, 3 or 4. The longest succession I heard was 6, but just as quickly as it came, it would leave once it had finished. Now I'm sure this would annoy anybody, but to me, this infuriated me to no end. At the time, I lived in a decent apartment complex in the city that charged an arm and a leg for rent. Even though I could easily afford the rent, I wanted to get my money's worth. So when the knocking started, I easily became annoyed. At first, I thought it wasn't worth the effort for a confrontation, so I endured it. But it just persisted on and on. After about a week, I started to knock back, loudly. It would knock and I'd knock back. I even knocked when it was silent, just to try to annoy whoever was on the other side, and sometimes I would knock furiously and in annoying patterns. This never made the problem go away or change whatsoever. It came and went exactly how it always had and even happened in the middle of the night. After 2 weeks, I decided I was going to take action myself. So one day, I waited patiently for the knocking to start. Once it did, I calmly gathered my wits along with my shoes and exited the door. I strutted to their door with a clear purpose and full of angered annoyance. I picked my fist up and held it for a second, hesitating, and then caught my breath as I proceeded to knock aggressively. "Hey jerk. You can quit anytime now. You'd better quit before I make a complaint on you," I said with the most Karen voice I could muster. I wasn't normally this type of person, but this had to be dealt with. No reply. "Oh, so what? You can knock all hours of the night but you can't answer your own door? Fine. I'm going back now, but if I hear it one more time, I'm going to report it." Still nothing. Feeling a mix of satisfaction and annoyance for having got my point out in such a fashion but not receiving a reply, I walked back to my place. Surprisingly, for the next few days, the knocking ceased, but eventually, it came back just the same as it had left. Damn it. All right. That's it, I said as I got my shoes on and headed downstairs to the main lobby. I arrived and came to the man behind the glass pane, standing in front of multiple rows of keys and some office supplies lying about his workspace. "How can I help you, sir?" he said politely with wide eyes and a big smile. "I need to make a complaint," I said, trying to sound stern but polite. "Oh no, whatever for?" "My neighbor in room 506 has been making some sort of knocking noise against the wall and it's driving me crazy. Can we please do something about it?" The man's eyes and skin became pale and his lip quivered a bit. "I'm sorry sir, what room did you say your neighbor was in?" 506. "Are you absolutely sure?" "Was it Mabe?" "Yes, I'm sure," I said, cutting him off. "Why? Is something the matter?" "No sir, it's just. There's nobody in that room." "Oh, I'm sure you're Ro. I'm sorry sir, I cannot help you. I have to attend to something else at the moment. Goodbye," the man said frantically as he fumbled with his keys and walked into the door behind the desk. Bewildered at the conversation, I headed back to my floor. As I was stepping out of the elevator, I noticed one of the janitors, cleaning the floors with a carpet cleaning machine. "Excuse me, sir," I said politely, "do you know who might be staying in that one there?" I said as I pointed to 506. "We really aren't supposed to talk about it," he said, ducking his head. "What do you mean?" "Well, okay, I'll tell you, but you can't say anything to anybody, okay? I could lose my job for this," he said in a whisper, putting his hand to his mouth. I nodded my head in agreement. "A couple of years ago, a man hung himself from the rafters. In there. The manager found the body hanging from the metal beam swaying back and forth. Apparently, his neighbor went down to the lobby and complained of somebody in the next apartment over, knocking on the walls.